Alright, morning guys. So, it was a very brief trip here yesterday. Unfortunately, well, I was only here, really got basically that one side sanded, and then got a phone call from Mrs. because we were all crook partway through last week, and I'd sort of crook over the weekend. Managed to get down here on Sunday and get some stuff, we'll get that primer on. But so we've all been crook, all four of us. But Mrs. oldest son was the last one to get crook, and yesterday, it had been 4 days since he had really eaten or drunk anything. What most of us only had sort of affected us for a couple of days, but it affected him for longer, and he's just, every time he would go to swallow things or whatever, he'd gag and frickin' throw it back up again. So anyway, he was getting dehydrated, so she took him down to the hospital. So I went home and looked after the young fella, expecting maybe they might have been away for 3 or 4 hours, and I might get it back down here late in the afternoon, but it was after, so it was bloody 6 o'clock by the time they got home, so that didn't work. So anyway, back here this morning, so while they were in town and on their way home, trying to get some stuff sorted, I managed to get them to grab me some wet and dry, a couple of sheets of 1500 and 2000 from one of the places where I would normally go get stuff, so that I've been trialling out to see how they get on. So I've got some of that, but they didn't have any 3000, and I wouldn't mind a couple of extra sheets. I thought they were the full sheets, but yeah, I've got this stuff. When you get into the wet and dry 3M, it's only half sheets, so I should have told her to get more, but yeah, I didn't think about it. But that should be plenty to do what I need to do anyway here. It should be. The 3M lasts for fucking ages. It's better than that, than the Norton stuff. The Norton stuff seems to, again, lose its fucking edge really easy. So I'll get sanding on this stuff, try and get all this stuff blocked back today, and I'll get another, get some glazing putty in, like I was going to do yesterday, and hopefully get another coat of high build on them. And then if I run out of doing that, which I probably won't by the end of today, I'll come back to this tomorrow. I'll probably spend the whole day down here tomorrow since I lost all yesterday, basically. And I'll wet sand all that and shit, and try and go through the grades, and at least get it down to 2000 if I can by the end of the day. We'll just see how we get on and get it all smoothed out, and then get it prepped for the black, and then hopefully early next week, I don't know, I'm saying sort of Tuesday or something like that, hopefully I've got these good enough that I can at least put some colour near them. Yeah, I've got a little bit of mucking around to do with that centre front valance piece that goes between the rails. There's some funny little spots in that I'm going to have to chase, because it's a bit of a pig to sand in that area. I might have to put a little bit more glazing putty in a couple of these spots, because I see there's some funny little marks in there, because it's a bit of a shit of a spot, and it's where I had to cut it and rejoin it, and I just noticed it's not very smooth through there, and I might have to try and muck around with it a bit, and it might take me a couple more goes to get that right, but I think all the rest of it should come with another one, if you know what I mean. That might take me a little bit extra to get dialed into where I'm happy. The rest of it looks pretty good, but yeah, it's just in these corners. I pull the phone off, I'll show you. And I got a wonky fucking eye now. Not my eye, but eyelid puffed up for some reason, don't know why. Right, so yeah, and here it's a bit funny still. So it might take me a couple more goes to try and get this smoothed out and dyed out while I'm happy with all the transitions. Everything else looks like, by the time I blocked it out a couple of times and sanded it out a couple of times, I think it'll be pretty good. And it's a bit the same in here too. Just a few funny marks. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a bit hard for me for what I can see on the camera through the glass and what I can see here. But hopefully, yeah, it's just going to take a little bit to get it to smooth out and transition. I might have to put a little more glazing putty in there, and just quite a few more coats in there just to get everything to blend out nicely. But I think everything else will come come up pretty good, pretty easy. So yeah, it's not looking too bad, but yeah, I'd just like to get this a little nicer than what it is at the moment. It's got some funny marks and imperfections in it, that because where it is, it's not so easy to get to smooth out. Like on here is easy and on here is easy, but trying to sand into those curves can be a bit of a pig sometimes. Tight little curve like that, but we'll get it. It just might take an extra day or 3, you know, just to get dialed in, with waiting for products to go off and to be able to sand it again and all that sort of shit. So that's cool. We'll get it. But everything else I think should smooth out reasonably okay. So we'll get to it. Now the glazing putty I'm going to put in here, because I haven't really sanded anything else, I'll wait till I've knocked everything else back a bit. I'll get this stuff blocked out, and at least that one blocked out, and see what I need to put in there. And you know, I'll probably give this a quick rub so we can get a wee bit smeared in there. So you really need to sand them all before I mix up some glazing putty, maybe, so I can sort of hit them all at once, and then while I'm waiting on that shit to sort itself out, I can go back and tackle that for half an hour or an hour while the glazing putty's setting up, till I knock it off, and then we can give it a a few more coats. So that's kind of where I'm at. Because I know it's a little bit funny in around here too. You get, I know this was a bit of a pig to get this smooth out, because it was a wee bit deformed in this area, the panel, and it's taken me a little bit to get it to blend out. It's not looking too bad now, but the black will show it up if it's not right. But it's a busy area, so it might be quite visible, but it'd be nice to have it fairly dialed in, if you know what I mean. Right, we'll get to it. So righty guys, so I just misted a bit of black paint on here, mainly because I know this has been a bit of a problem area when I was doing bodywork. It doesn't feel too bad now, but I just want to basically block it out with a short block with 240 on it. Mainly in and around this piece, to make sure that it is coming out fairly flat, and I don't have any funny spots that I'm sort of not seeing, even though I'm hitting it, if you know what I mean. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it to blend out a lot nicer than what I can see like this, because I know it wasn't dead perfect, and it doesn't feel too bad. It feels like there's almost a high spot through here, and I just want to see if I can rub it out and blend it out. So yeah, I just grabbed the short block because it's a bit easy to get in and around here, if you know what I mean. Then obviously the long one, I still want to get the one that's double length. I just haven't had a chance to, like everything else. I'm too busy working, and then freaking trying to get stuff. It's not even that dear, so I think it's like 30 something bucks. I just haven't had a chance to sort it, to see whether I can get one in town or order one or whatever, you know what I mean? It might be a bit green, that shit yet. Pucker it. I hate fucking paper's useless. I'll put a bit of 3M on there and see if I just put that on there because I haven't had a sticky bit of paper on here for ages. Do another rub and see. Yeah. See how the paint all sticks in that shit? And it just clogs up straight away. Just quickly change it over. Right, got a bit of 3M under here now. Bitch, this doesn't even fill up. Stupid. pretty much clears out straight away. Fucking drives me nuts. Difference between two different brands of paper, eh? So yeah, you can see there's a few little low spots, not too bad. Obviously this just needs a bit more block back. But that's what I was trying to see where the little marks were, and also just giving another couple of block outs until I get rid of that mark, and hopefully not through the steel and make anything else look funny. I'll carry on around here too. I'll do that and we'll, yeah, may as well just get the video on the base. Adjusting now, not bad. See what it blocks out like again. There's a few little marks I might have to put a bit of something in, or I might get a block them out. Block them out a little bit further. Curious to just see how quick this pulls down again. I don't know any funny marks in what it's painted. Give that a couple of minutes. Come back. Alrighty guys, so I've just been blocking that back out again when I sprayed some more blacking around there, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. I think another couple of coats and another block out, that should be pretty good. But one thing's just dawned on me, that the end bits here, I thought that this was covered by most of the fender. I thought it was a little bit seen, but I couldn't remember. Then I was like, it just dawned on me that everything from here or thereabouts, everything from about there back is seen. So I need to do a bit more work to that. I actually probably really need to, I might scuff that edge with 80 and mix up some body filler and spread on there before I go for lunch on each end, and then knock that out. And just because it's a bit rough through there, like I wasn't too panicked about it, because I was thinking that the fenders come past it and you didn't basically hardly see any of it. But no, you do, you see that freaking 6 inches that pokes out of the back of that. So I need to just make it better, obviously. So if I can give that a quick scuff with 80 and just mix up a little bit of filler and just scrape it out there and blend it out, and hopefully when I knock it back and then pour a few extra coats of high build on that area, I should get it hopefully in one hit, because it's a fairly small area and it's nice and flat, so I think I should get it in one. It's not too bad, you know what I mean, if I use a big wide body filler spreader. I think I should get it in one. If not, it'll be really close. So yeah, I need to do that before I put anything else near this. It was just dawned on me, like, fuck, you actually see a reasonable chunk of that. I was thinking that it wasn't seen, but it is seen. It pokes the fender, sits past it. Actually, I'll set the camera up and I'll just lift the fender up and show you. the right this corner. So yeah, these holes here line up those ones. Roughly see all that. So yeah, I better make it a bit prettier. I was thinking you didn't see it, but you freaking do. That's all good. So I wasn't too panicked about making it really just really pretty because I was thinking, oh, you know, it's all covered, but I was thinking that the fender come down there, but it doesn't. It comes down here instead, so I'll fix that, but it's not a big. It's not a biggie, it's not a biggie. At least I picked it up before we put paint on it, thinking that it was going to be covered, but no, it's not all of it anyway. So I better make that a bit nicer looking. Fortunately, I did sort of hammer it out a reasonable amount earlier on. Actually, I might just stick a dolly in there and just give it a couple of smacks. It's a low spot here, a bad low spot. Give it a couple of smacks to the dolly in behind, at least I can make that a bit better, a bit easier, but I'll get that done and we'll see you at some other point, a bit further ahead. Righty, so I've blocked out that body for I put on there. I needed a little bit extra, so I just mixed up some glazing putty because I wanted to put a little bit, well, I tried to put a little bit in that low spot there, and I cut by the little spots where I thought maybe that was sort of creeping into the scene area. And that was a little funny spot there, like I probably would have got it with high build, but I can at least block it off and get a better result. And then we'll put some, you know, quite a few layers of high build on there, and then we should be able to block it out and really have it smooth. So did the scene too, there was a few lower spots that, since it's going to be seen, that I needed to really catch. So you put the glazing putty on there as well and spread it out basically like the mud. So that end had a few marks in it, the centre had quite a few marks in it. They weren't that badly low, but definitely needed more than what paint could fill. Well, without putting 20 coats on there. So yeah, that's where I'm at there. So I'll let that cure off, and I might just start sanding back that other front valance. I haven't had a chance to get to that yet. So these are probably going to be painted tomorrow, primed tomorrow. It'll be primed tomorrow, not painted. So yeah, I'll start knocking that back, get that sanded back with 220, ready for another coat of high build, and then hopefully we won't be far away with these things. I'm not going to have to get real fussy on there, but I want to make sure it's reasonable before I put primer on there, so hopefully I can get it. All I'll do is, when I paint the stuff, I'll keep blowing the ends twice. I don't care if it even runs, just as long as I get plenty of product in there so I can block it out and get it fairly good, and then hopefully with another sand it'll be done when the rest of it's done, if you know what I mean. So I can catch it up and get plenty of product on here to at least blend it in with the rest. So yeah, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. It's only a small area and you're only seeing this much of it, so as long as I can get it blended out fairly good, it's, you know, it's not going to look too bad. And again, there's other things going on around it, so you're not going to see miles of it, but it still needs to be right. So if it's not dead perfectly flat, as long as it's really smooth and hasn't got any nasty imperfections in it, you'll never notice. You know, if it's not dead super flat, if it's got a little bit of a wave in it, it's not going to matter, as long as it's clean and it's flat, if you know what I mean. Flat smooth, not flat. You know what I mean. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'll get that other valance over here. I'll just kick that back over here somewhere in the meantime, over the road, and I'll do that. Righty, so what I was doing with the black mist coat before, just doing on here too, where I put a bit of glazing painting before, just see if I can get it to flatten out before I put any more plywood on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to get plywood on today. I might do. I'm not far away. See how I get on with the next hour or so. I don't want to be, well, won't matter if I'm a wee bit later out of here tonight, but I'm going to see if I can get this down flat. Without going too deep into these spots, if you know what I mean. Put a clean sheet of paper on here as well. I might sit down for a few minutes and let it cure off. I've got a lot else to sand. Take a break for a minute, have a drink, and hopefully that'll cure up. It should really only take a few minutes to cure off from decent temps. Right, just finished spraying down some more primer. Hopefully the last tip, if I can get this piece to block out nice. It's a funny spot there, but hopefully it's enough material on there I can block it out between the primer and the glazing putty. But they look shit hot. I poured it on really freaking thick on these ends. Bit of a sag there, but I'm not worried about that. But generally, I think that'll block out pretty nice. Same here, it looks pretty freaking good to me. And in between valance panel. Alright guys, so hopefully maybe in the next video or in this video, not quite sure, these will be black. Won't be tomorrow, but probably Monday or Tuesday, depending on how this blocks out. I'm going to try and block this tomorrow, see how it cures up. It's fairly warm at the moment, hopefully it might be good enough. We'll see how we get on, otherwise I'll do it, might rock down Sunday for an hour or something like that. An hour or two and just block these out and see how they look, if they feel a bit soft tomorrow. So anyway, if this is the end of this video, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and hit the bell. Again, thanks for all the new subs. We're getting really, fairly close to that magic 1,000. And so yeah, I think I'm still about that 902 or 3 or 4 mark. Bounced up and down a little bit. Just people come along and obviously not quite what they're after. So it is what it is. But I appreciate all the guys that stick around, and or girls, guys, girls, friends, families, whatever. And I can't wait to see what these boys get up to in when they're chopping this roof off this bus. They're all, well, I know that Heidi and Arco from Outlaw Ridge, Minnesota Outlaw Kustoms, which is basically the other half of this business, if you guess we want to call it that way. We're trying to do things in conjunction, so maybe one day when we get together, we become one. It's probably possibly still have 2 channels at that point, but we'll see what happens. But with them and Iron Horse Garage, and I know those boys are all in the one spot now, from what I can understand. There's a couple of pictures on Instagram of them together, so that's really cool. Really jealous, wish I was there. Sucks being stuck over here with all this bullshit going on. I know it's around the world, but you know, could have been there quite easily, you know, if a lot of this crap hadn't gone on. But right, morning guys, so welcome back again. I'm going to do another little sit down talk for a couple of minutes. So this is possibly a new video. Oh god, shocking. I haven't freaking had a chance to freaking get through the footage even from yesterday. Anyway, I suppose a little bit of a moan this morning about some of the people that frickin' you know, they like and follow you on like Instagram and shit like that, and then they I don't know whether they're legit businesses or not, but had this one guy message me yesterday, and he obviously builds custom consoles, or supposedly builds custom consoles. It was hard to tell. There was like a whole heap of stuff that was built. He had a few photos and bits and pieces on his Instagram account. And he followed me, so I had a look, and I was like, oh yeah, he built some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, follow him back. Then he gives me a message, and I was like, okay, here we go. One of these, is it? So it's like, oh, can I build you a custom console? And the way it was written was like he spoke really broken English, I would imagine. So whether it was something that was legit or not, or whether they just put a heap of photos up of consoles, you know, up on their page, and he goes, oh, can I build you a custom console for your car? I'm like, really? Well, the looks of it, you're somewhere in the States or something like that. And I was like, mate, I'm on the other side of the world in New Zealand. Why would I get you to build a custom console? And if I can build a car like this, I'm pretty sure I can build one for myself. And it's a restoration. Like you're not going to put a fucking custom console in a 1925 Studebaker that's been restored. If it was, you know, if you're building a hot rod out of it, well, you might think about it, but it's like, I don't know, it's like people are just, sometimes are just weird, and I got a sneaking suspicion it was somebody trying to scam money, just by the way they approached. Most legitimate businesses don't approach like that. Like, I don't go hunting around people's pages and go, oh, do you want me to build you a custom car? Just don't do it. 9 times out of 10, if you're doing a decent job, word of mouth in your local area, and is normally enough, you know, like as long as the frickin' world doesn't turn to any more worse than what it is at the moment, and people start struggling worse for money. Like, I've got 3 or 4 cars to build, you know, and by myself, that's going to take me at least another year or so. Yeah, to even try and get through them, depending on how much work I'm going to do. Like, if I've got to go into it like this, well, it's going to take me a while. But if it's more cosmetic and a little bit of mechanical, with some of those later model stuff, it's not going to take quite so long, if you know what I mean. But, you know, if you're building whatever, and it's like these guys that are doing these drawings that go on forever. Before I took down my old Instagram and then made a new one a while later, I was forever getting these guys with these drawings. Oh, can I draw pictures of your cars and put it, and so you can put it on t-shirts and frickin' this and that? And I was like, if I want something drawn up, I said, I'll talk to somebody, you know. And 9 times out of 10 it'll be something local first, or I'll do it my frickin' self, you know. It's like, I don't know, a lot of these places have got to be, they've got to be dodgy when they're approaching like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. Like, if you're gonna approach somebody to see if you can build your custom console, at least fucking make sure they're in the same country as you for a start. And then, I guess if it was in the US, you know, as long as they're within a state or two, well, yeah, you might think about it. But normally, you're not going to go halfway across the fucking country to get somebody to build you a console that a guy maybe 2 or 3 hours away can build the same thing, you know. You got to use, you know, unless you're really hunting for the best of the best person and you're building $1 million car, well, then you're going to go further afield to get somebody to do something, you know. Because it's very awkward to get a custom console built for a car that they have nothing to fucking build it off. You know, oh, yeah, I've got a 25 Studebaker. Yeah, can you build one for that? And they go, oh yeah, I'll just go down the road and I'll get another car. It was like, yeah, but this is totally different to that one. It's like, oh, yeah, it just doesn't compute with me, eh? So these fucking, watch out for these freaking idiots. But anyway, it's my bit of a rant this morning. Like, it's just like, if you are a legit business and you're chasing people like that, for fuck's sake, make sure that they're in the same country for a start, and reasonably near you if you're going to be building that sort of stuff. And have a look at what vehicles they're building for a start off. Like, I'm not likely to want a custom console for a 1925 Studebaker. Maybe if I was building I don't know, like a mid-60s or 70s or something like that, frickin' Chevy or frickin' Ford truck or frickin' something like that, well, yeah, maybe I might want one, but, you know, or a C.A.R or a frickin' Challenger or Charger or, I don't know, whatever, you know, Mustang. You know, if I was building shit for that, like that, and it was custom stuff, well, yeah, maybe, but you still need the vehicle there. You know, because if I've chopped the floor out and changed the floor or whatever, you know, we'll put custom seats in it and they're frickin' 2 inches wider, next thing you got no more room to, you know, you can't frickin' build shit like that off nothing, you know. You've got to have something there to build it off. It just doesn't work. You know, you can build as much as you can be the best fucking builder in the world, but if you don't have something physically tangible there that's exactly the same, you know, you can have 3 or 4 different Mustangs that are all the same year, but if somebody's custom built every frickin' one of them, I bet you that, especially if they've dived into the floor and put flat floors and all that sort of bullshit in it, and custom chassis, you know, frickin' whatever custom frame they put underneath it, you know, and cut the unibody out of it and put like a full frame underneath it, like a lot of stuff that they do, you know, and guarantee you, if you build a console to fit one, it would never fit the others. So, yeah, I don't know, it's just a bit of a gripe this morning. It's just, I don't know, it just comes across as stupidity more than anything. But anyway, I'm going to get blocking back, or check, see if I can block back these panels that I primed yesterday. And get them a step closer, make sure I am happy with where they are. I've got 2 that I might have to do a little bit of chasing on. I'm not sure about that front valance yet because it had those few little marks in the corners. I put a little bit of putty in those tight corners and rubbed it out yesterday. And I put a crap load of primer on these frickin' things yesterday. I don't know how many coats I put on them. I mixed up enough for basically, what did I mix up? Let's have a look. I know what the measurement was, but not the capacity, if you know what I mean. So I mixed up to about on the 4-to-1 was 3 parts. Yeah, 3 parts paint and 1 reduced from 10%. So about 20, yeah, be about 27 fluid ounces or about 800 mils. So a couple of good cupfuls in one of those paint pots, and I just fucking poured it on. So yeah, but it's been fairly good temps overnight. It's a little cool this morning, but it's gonna be fucking probably close to freaking 90 Fahrenheit again today, I'd imagine. And we've had some cool ones, but yesterday was pretty warm, and today's I think it's going to be pretty warm again. But anyway, I'll pull the phone off, we'll have a quick walk around, see what these look like. And that one there, that had the funny patch in it, that had the low spot on it. Obviously, if you've gone through the other videos, by the time you get to this one, there was a wee bit of a funny low spot that I've been chasing in that one. I put a bit extra putty in it, but it's still not perfect, but I'm hoping that it'll block out and even out when I block it out. So yeah, I'm hoping, I might have to reprime a couple pieces, but I'm hoping this is the last. Some of it will be, you know, I definitely know one side balance should be the last prime. Possibly that rear piece that goes over the fuel tank in between the 2 rear fenders and the body. That should be the last one. Oh, I'll scrape the phone off here. Right, so yeah, hopefully this one here Should be the last one. I might have to chase a little couple of marks and bits and pieces in the corner where I put that extra bit of body pour in there yesterday. I smashed it on the ends. But hopefully, you know, by the time I block it out, I might be able to catch a couple of these little marks in the corner and edge or whatever, just rub them back, rub it off till it comes out smooth. I might have just blow the edge again, something like that later on. Put a little primer, see how we get on. But I think this looks pretty good now. I spent a bit of time on this yesterday, blocking that out around through there. A couple of times with the dusting out with some black and then rubbing it out again to make sure it was looking pretty good. I think this one's pretty good. Oh, I can see a brick and line in here, so hopefully I can sand that out. I don't know why that's line still in there. I haven't chased it along that edge for ages. It's funny how still things show up. I might have to block that out fairly hard. So if I can get down through there, I can actually see a mark there too. We'll chase it, we'll see how we get on. And might have to put another coat on them yet. Same here, same freaking line. And there's this funny patch here where I put a bit of fill in it yesterday. I'm just hoping that I might be able to block it out and get rid of some of these marks out of it. But again, I might have just spot primed. But every time I prime this, I freaking like blew an extra, probably a couple of coats through here. Or a couple of times over when it was still wet. But yeah, we might have to. It might need an extra prime yet. Maybe. Now that it's dried off. This is looking quite good. We'll see. Get some light on there better. Hard to tell with the shadows. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. We'll see. When we block it out, better really see what they look like. Too much light behind me. But these aren't looking too bad. Starting to smooth out and blend out pretty good. Another couple of rub outs and they'll be really sweet. That's cool. There's a few marks in here, but as long as I can get the block out reasonably well. We might have to do another prime yet, just to knock out some of these last marks, see if we can get it down far enough to get rid of the worst of this. It is going to have that piece up there, as long as I can get it to blend out reasonably well. Shouldn't stick out too much. It's actually meant to have some some decoration, trimming stuff on here, but we don't have them. Whether I can make them in the end or not, I don't know. See how we get on, or we'll just leave them black, I guess. They're not here, so I've seen them in photos of other cars, but maybe not every car had them either. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Anyway, I'll see if this stuff will block out, or whether I have to leave it for another 24 hours and see if it'll come. It might be just a bit green yet with the amount of paint they put on it, but we'll try. If not, I'll wet sand the body. We'll do another pass round with 800 and then I'll chop the 15. We'll get something done anyway. Righty. So this stuff is blocking out okay. So this auto plane, it's a PPG product. So most of it, up until recently, I've been leaving a few days to let it just make sure it's hardened up, but it's sanding fine. So this has been on here, since about 5 o'clock last night. It's now, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So this is this high build primer. I don't know where else it's available in the world. Don't know. This is what I'm using. It's obviously the paint code, or the product code. This is 4 litres, which is slightly over a gallon. All the rest is bullshit, is just like the New Zealand stuff. I guess it's probably made in other parts of the world, in Australia and whatever. So yeah, it's a PPG product. So it might be just an Australian, New Zealand thing, I don't know. But it seems to work alright, seems to stand out okay. I poured a shitload on it. I don't know how many coats, heaps, especially in the areas where it really needed to build up the extra material. And it's dried fine, like within, what are we talking, 12 hours or thereabouts, a bit more. Man, it sands fine. It is warm at the moment, but we are having cooler nights, like it's getting down into the low teens here, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, I don't know, be late 50s, early 60s Fahrenheit, I would guess, somewhere around about there. Definitely not anywhere near freezing point. It's definitely quite warm, even at night. 12 or 13 degrees at night's cool, but it's not that. It's not cold. Like that's way warmer than in probably the warmest day that we get in the middle of winter, unless we happen to have 2 or 3 like that were really good and consistent and actually got a bit of temp in the day. But normally when we get clear days, it's actually cooler because the frost's at night. But yeah, so this is sanding out good. This is one of the spots where I put some grazing putty in yesterday, so I'm going to keep blocking the crap out of this. It's not bad, I'm almost through. I might just have to spot prime this area to try and fill these last little marks to see how we get on by the time I block it out. And I'm trying to get rid of that line if I can. So I'm not doing this at all. And this panel, I'm going like this all the way down it, trying to keep my block basically covering as much of that panel as I can. Get blocked out flat. Some of it I'm going like that, trying to go up and down, but I'm trying not to go that way at all to try and get that line going, or as much of it as gone as possible. So I'll carry on. Yeah, thought it might have been a little bit green, but it seems to be sanding fine. So there was plenty of temp yesterday afternoon for 4 or 5 hours after I finished spraying it. So like it's not getting dark here at night until about 9:30 I suppose now. We're starting to come off the longer days. It's not, we're not really deep into the end of summer, but we're getting towards the end of our normal part of summer, I suppose. I don't know, when do we actually go into autumn? I'm not for a wee while yet, another month or so really, I suppose. So yeah, but we can have really good temps here in this part of the world. What are we talking? January, February, March, April, even pushing into May. Like it's normally you normally get really good frost in the morning, but you can actually still get quite warmish. But by the time you get into June, July, August, which are really our coldest months, and part of September, which is starting to warm up again just. So yeah, those sort of 3 or 4 months are normally our coolest. Sort of August, June, July, August are normally the coldest too. Yeah, but sort of like start of May and the end of March, you're starting to get quite crisp, but it can be warm during the day, if you know what I mean. It can still be quite warm. When I mean warm, like it's not going to be above 20 degrees, but it can still be very pleasant for that time of year. So, but like these next 2 or 3 months here, it'll still be quite hot. Yeah, but anyway, so I'll get the stuff blocked out and see whether we need another coat or whatever, or even just do some some heavy spot priming, pull up a few pieces, but I think we'll be right, eh? Might just have to spot prime the odd piece, because we're going to go through the steel in a few spots. As long as I can get these pieces out, if I have to put one more coat on the bulk of it and heavy spot prime a few spots, well, it's not going to matter much, and we'll just give it a rub out. But yeah, we should have black on this stuff. Tuesday or Wednesday sort of type thing, I think. Easy. And hopefully we can get this body blocked down a bit more in between times. and get it ready for the black as well on the top. Anyway, I'll catch you later on. I'll keep going. Alrighty guys, so I'm not quite sure where I was up to in the last video. I'll have to go back and check. But I just put a bit of tape on there just to get a picture in my head, because obviously this here is where the edge of the fender bolts up to, and it sort of covers the rest of that, and then wherever the body mount is in here, but you've also got, there's another piece that sits on top of there, which is where the hood side's clipped down onto. I was just trying to get a rough idea of what's seen. Body is curved, so it probably curves out and then comes back in, if you know what I mean. So it could be, yeah, it could be out to here with the basic curve of the bottom of the body. But I was just trying to get a picture in my head of what I need to. I was mainly sort of looking at some of these little marks down here. They aren't too bad, you know, but I just want to get in my head what's probably seen. It's probably from this edge back, not this edge, but this edge, I think, roughly. So I might just block it a little bit more in this sort of area, just to get it down a little bit better, but these are pretty good. Again, down here, like, there's a few little marks, but that should be covered by the running board. I might just go back to it and have another wee rub. I just put another clean piece of paper on that block, so it's a bit sharper and a bit crisper. So I might just pull that one up and just do this side edge, the piece that's really seen. I might just give that another block on that one before I switch it, you know, to one of these other panels. But yeah, sorry that freaking light there. But yeah, so that's where I'm at here. So I get these blocked out, hopefully by lunch, and then just work out which ones I want to maybe spot prime and whatever. Like I'll probably spot prime this sort of stuff anyway, and then just give it a light rub over later on when we're ready to paint, like Monday or Tuesday or whenever we have everything sorted. But yeah, it was mainly just like some of these marks here. I was just making sure to see whether they were seen or not, and then whether I have to panic about some of them. Like this one here, it's probably seen, but I don't think these are. And this is sort of like borderline, if you know what I mean. So I might just block this back a little bit harder through here. Try and get this if I can, but I don't think I'm too stressed. I don't think it's seen, because by the time it gets back to the back, it's covered, and plus it's curved, so you know you're probably not going to see it anyway. But I just wanted to get a bit of a visual before I did do it, so I can just, because sometimes, you know, you can sort of go from there to there and you're sort of like, is it, isn't it? So that's why I just put a visual on there with some tape. The old masking tape comes in handy. Good way to waste it, but it's a good way to just to get a quick visual, to get a rough idea. Obviously that's where the bolts are on the body, you know, but they're like way in here, like we're talking, you know, 6 inches in from the side of the body. Tape does tape it down, but it is, but it's not a straight line from here to there. It's got a big curve on it. So, but anyway, I'll keep sanding, and we'll bring you back for another update later on. Righty, so part way through this one, I'm going to have to probably, I think I'm going to have to prime these all once more. Not heavy though, just enough to recoat them, and these are pretty good on the sides for what they are. Not too bad. There's a few little marks in it that mightn't be that look too bad. I might just put a little bit of, scrape a little bit of glazing putty on there or something. Just try and get a little bit in there and then knock it off before I prime one more time. Thought I might have got away with it, but it's a few marks, some of the marks. You know, it's come up pretty good for one prime, a lot of filler, and then a little bit of glazing putty. But there's a couple, just a couple of little marks I would like to get rid of. just to make it better. I'll turn that fan off, so it'll probably blow on the phone. I think it's warm in here. So yeah. So I think you've just like another couple of coats, just light coats over these should be okay. And maybe just when I'm doing it, just bang an extra 2 or 3 on just on this one area to try and pull that. That's about the only spot in here it's not bad now, but it's if a little bit more product and another wee block out there should get it. I'm pulling it down pretty hard around it to try and get down. But yeah, I think everything else is a little bit here too that I might have to. But this one here is pretty good. This will just need a light coat and just a little very light rub back. I don't think there's anything on there worth chasing. But this here, you might just have to put a little bit of, when I do the couple of bits in there, I might just scrape a little bit on here. And maybe just, yeah, we'll see. Maybe a couple of these, there's 3 or 4 little deeper marks here. This one here is just a slight low spot, but I might just scrape those and then try and get this with primer. And I haven't got back to this yet. This is still unsanded. So we'll see how this turns out too. We might need a little bit in here. But yeah, I was thinking we might have got it with this one, but one more doesn't, one more light prime, couple of coats and a little bit extra in some of the spots that need it. We should be good. If I can get rid of just those little marks, and then just hand sand it instead of a block, and just blend everything, any other little mark out, it'll be pretty good for where it is on the car. And like it's got a bumper and everything goes around it and past it and all that sort of stuff, so it helps keep your eye away, if you know what I mean, if there is any little tiny imperfections. And again, you're only seeing, that much of it. So it's no biggie, as long as it's pretty good. By the time I pour frickin' 3 or 4 coats of black over it, and probably 4, I'll probably put 4 coats of black on them, and then we'll wet sand them out. So any little marks that might be there will be less again. So we should be pretty good. But yeah, so we're still on the road for Tuesday. As long as it's not frickin' stupid hot here this afternoon, I'll get another couple of coats on these. Should be right. I'll just spray it on anyway. Just might have to make it a little bit wetter to spray on in the heat. I wouldn't do paint, but I'll do primer. Should be right. Anyway, I'm gonna go have some lunch. Hopefully get this block back. I'm gonna take these fairly hard, some of these plots, but that's why I poured her on. Try and get this blended out. But it's pretty cool. Can't wait to get this frickin' thing half bolted together just to see what it looks like. Oh, I'm not sure if it said yesterday, but the wheels are being remade. All the spokes are going to be new, and they're going to be hickory. So they should look friggin' absolutely sexy. And we've been told to just linseed oil them. So the rims will probably be, we'll work that out whether we're going to paint them black or blue, or a combination of black and blue. Not sure. We'll work that out and have a look at some pictures, see how we want to do that. But yeah, they're going to be hickory, all the spokes, and they'll be just linseed oil. So that should look absolutely frickin' sexy with a new set of frickin' wooden spokes and the blue and black body. It should look frickin' wicked. Can't wait to see what they turn out like. So it's cool. Yeah, he just had a look at them and he said, yeah, they might be alright, but I'll go through them. And he said, really, at the end of the day, if I have to start remaking spokes, once I've remade one and made the tooling to make one and the profile to make one, he said it's freaking pretty easy to make the whole lot. So yeah, they're going to remake them. It's about $1,000 a wheel, which is not too bad. There's a lot of work in them. So for a brand new set of wooden wheels ready to go, at least we know the bastards aren't going to break driving down the road when we've just finished it. So a bit of peace of mind, I suppose. But anyway, That's cool. Can't wait to see them back. Right, so the last coat of primer to go on. I didn't think I was going to have to do another one. I'd probably get away with it outside on here, but I think just what I'm going to do is put 2 more medium-ish coats on, and that'll just give me something to block or rub out with 400. I won't block it, I'll rub it out with 400. I'll block these out plenty with 220. I could do it with 400, but I don't think there's any point. I've blocked these out several times with 220, and I don't think it's going to make it any flatter than what it is, but I just want to be able to give it another nice light rub out with 400, just to obviously to get rid of any scratch marks from the 220, and with a couple of reasonable coats and a little bit extra in a couple of the little spots that have got some tiny imperfections, I think it should be good. And then, as I said, like if we do like 4 coats with the black, and then we'll wet sand it and buff everything, unless these turn out really good off the gun. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So I'm just about to mix up some primer. Everything else looks really good. So I'm going to plug this back off because I gave it another little rub through there. So yeah, these all have come out good. Most of the little marks that were in them that I could see, I've managed to rub out. And then I went over just by hand, just with that little soft block and a bit of 220, and just went over a lot of other places and just brought some of the other funny, maybe marginal funny spots down, like the pieces on the side and bits and pieces. I managed to block most of them out with the soft block instead of the hard Dura block. That just means it was just going in and just smoothing everything out without being dead flat, if you know what I mean. And on these side pieces, it's not going to matter a lot because they're not dead flat perfect anyway. And with a couple more coats, a couple more medium-ish heavy coats, it should be good enough. You know, like a lot of this is, you know, the fender will be down here, so a lot of it will be missed. You might only see in this, I don't know, 4 inches sort of type thing. Anyway, and most of the stuff on these are pretty good. So I think we'll be right. I think we'll be pretty good. So we'll get a couple of coats on them, and when we rub them back with 400, at least then I know that we'll better tell if there is anything that I really want to chase. But basically I think it'll be Monday morning, flip them over. I've got that underseal gun. We're going to rub out on the inside, hit them with that underseal gun, turn them over. Once it's dry enough to turn over, we'll rub it out with 400 and they'll be ready to paint. That's the plan, and then we'll get that top stuff rubbed out, mask that off. We'll have to sit these on there temporarily and just work out where I want to paint black up here. But I think it's pretty obvious, but I'll just double check it. I'll just put the bolts in there, I'll put some tape on there, put the bolts in there lightly, draw around with a pen or a pencil and then pull it off, and then I will know if I want to paint any of this black or whether I just, you know, mask it out here and just leave a little bit up and then it'll be covered. We'll work it out at the time, just whatever comes out easy. I think probably just if I just mask slightly high, and that'll be covered by the black, and the thing will just come up to it, if you know what I mean. We'll work it out at the time. Lay some tape out there, and yeah, which can mask hard up against underneath this edge, and we'll just blow sort of in that edge and on here and over the top, and that'll be good. So sweet. That's paint mixed up. I'm just about ready to mix it up, and we'll smash her on and we'll get out of here and spend the rest of the afternoon at home and cool off because it's freaking hot. That's those done. Shush. Right, that's them done. Another couple of coats on them. Borderline 2 coats on one, but really pretty close. I got most of it. I've got the pieces that I needed to get, which is this one I just run out. I've done everything else apart from sitting a bit light in here, but it's no biggie. I got most of it. That's pretty good anyway. So yeah, hopefully light rub on Monday. Well, you'll do the texture coat on the inside, flip them over once it's dried, give them a rub out. While it's drying on the inside, I'll start prepping the body, rubbing it back with 800 and up around the top and work out where I'm going to mask out. And then we'll flip these over, rub these out with 400 just with the little soft block and by hand. And yeah, we should be good for paint, I think. Should be good for paint, I think. I think that the final block of 400 will tell me. I think we're good enough. It's about dry already. At least I've got a nice, good, even coat on here, so it should be really easy to block out or rub out and get a really nice result. They look pretty looks pretty smooth and clean to me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they're coming out. Whoa, oh, sorry guys. Turn the phone around so I can see what I'm doing. So yeah, they have come out they look pretty good. I think by the time we give them a light rub of 400 and blow some black on, if we have to, if it doesn't lay out really, really glassy, and we give them a wet sand back with all the, 800 to 3000 and buff everything out, I think it'll look pretty shit hot. So that's cool. Right, we'll get out of here. I'm going to go cool down somewhere-ish, probably not, but at least sit down and put my feet up and come back here, yeah, Monday. And get prepped for black. So if we don't get black on Monday, it'll be Tuesday morning, as long as the weather's good. So yeah, I think if we can get the undercoat rubbed back, masked out, rubbed back on here, we should be good. And I'll mask up these rear arches too, so I can, when we paint black up here, we can blow a few coats in here, so at least that's part of it's finished. So cool, kill, right? Yeah, actually might be able to paint those inside of those other fenders too at the same time. We'll work that out. Work it out. We might have to come back and just, once we get all this other shit out of the road, might have better swap that stuff over and do it on the inside. There's lots of other little pieces to paint black, so it's no biggie. Do you get them? Anyway, I'll catch you later on.